Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be reviewing the Anime Tarot by Natasha Yglesias, hope I'm saying that right, and illustrated by Maosishu. Again, hope I'm saying that right. Right off the bat, little side tangent, it's interesting to me that, Natasha is the one who, gets her name up front, and, the illustrator is the one who's only mentioned here. I feel like a lot of the time with tarot decks, it's, the illustrator who gets to be front and center, but I don't know, that's kind of random. I'm like, I wonder how they reach that agreement. I don't know. Anyways, this is one of two anime tarot decks that I own. I own a different one, which I will review in a later video, and this one is interesting because this deck, it has all of the major arcana and all of the court cards and the minor arcana as anime tropes. So yeah, interesting concept, and I really like the guidebook for this deck because I'm just gonna go to the Fool. Yes, because it's pretty, the interpretations are pretty good. It's got yes, attributes, reversed attributes, and it has upright and reversed, and then at the bottom it shows you examples of the trope that's being displayed in the card. And I think that's a really cool way to go about it. And I think it's really fun how anime fans can get this tarot deck and just pull a card and see examples of that in various series. I think that's really neat. Yeah, so let's get into some cards that I think are really pretty. Alright. So this is the Page of Wands. I think it's a cute card. The trope for this one, I believe it was the sports anime hero. This is the Hermit. I think it's a good card. I always think it's funny when in decks whenever the Hermit is portrayed in more modern takes as someone just by themselves on their computer. I think it's silly. I like that card. Then there's Temperance, and the trope for this one was the Pacifist. I really like this one and just how bright it is. I think all of the blues go nicely together. I like the light around the person. I think it's a pretty card. Then there's the Hanged Man, and the trope for this one was the isekai protagonist. I just think, I don't know, I don't really know what to say about this one. I think it's just a really beautiful card. I like the darker colors of it. I think the color scheme is really pretty for this one. Oh, and also, I haven't mentioned it yet, but I do generally speaking, like the art style of this deck. I think that just, the way the people are drawn is very pretty, and I feel like it would be trite to say that, they're very anime. I don't know how else to describe it, though. If there's a non-trite way to describe it, just imagine that's what I said instead. Then there's the Sun, and this is just it's very bright, very happy card. I like specifically, the straw hat. I like the way that's drawn, and I like the way the flowers are drawn. And then my favorite card in the deck is this Lovers card. I think it's really poetic. I like the incorporation of the red string of fate, and the trope for this one, I believe it was high school crushes or something along those lines. I think it's really cute. I like how we've got kind of a yin and yang thing going on here, just in terms of position. I think that's neat. Yes, I really like that card. On to some cards that I think are clever. So I like that the Fool, in the book, it says that the Fool, the trope for it is the shoujo heroine. I thought that was neat. I thought that was fun. And then the trope for the Page of Swords was the engineer / mechanic, which I thought was clever. And also something that's interesting in this deck is that the cards aren't gendered consistently. We see kind of a masc presenting person for Queen of Wands, and we see femme presenting for Knight of Wands. So for the most part, the cards in the deck, the gender of the figure corresponds with the typical gender of the card, but not always. And I like that because it shows that the creators of this tarot deck are more committed to the associations with like the tropes they're displaying and not trying to fit the traditional imagery, which I think is really cool. Yeah, especially when there are like some people trying to pull away from the more like traditional gendered imagery of the tarot. I think it's nice. And I haven't shown them yet, so these are what the backs of the cards look like. They're the same, like upright and reverse, which is always notable, always nice. Yeah, I don't really feel any particular way about the backs of these cards, but I thought I'd show them anyways. Alrighty, now on to the major flaw of this deck, in my opinion. I'm sorry if that was too harsh. The minor arcana cards, with the exception of the court cards, are all just drawn like this, alright? So, okay. So obviously in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there were like full-on like scenes drawn out for all of the minor arcana, and with most of the tarot decks that I own, they take like a similar approach, like they have special drawings for all of the cards in the deck. However, this deck and one other one that I own, which I'll review at a later date, this deck just has like 5 of cups is 5 cups, 5 of wands, 5 wands, like etc. Alright? Whenever like I get a tarot deck, I really like it better when there are like actual scenes drawn on all the cards, just because it's more interesting, it's more, I don't know, beautiful, I suppose. With that being said, I don't want to downplay the effort that the creators of this deck put into it, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Creating tarot decks is a lot of work, and I'm not trying to say that, like, they didn't try enough or, like, put enough effort in. And I do really like, all of the other aspects of the deck. Is just like this whole thing like takes away some of the appeal for me. It's also worth noting that the cards in the deck, like the minor arcana, they aren't color-coded by suit or by number. Like you see here, I have the 10 and 9 of swords right here, same suit, different colors, which I also pulled these two out specifically just to show how like it can be detrimental to a tarot deck to like not show images on the cards, because these two are like some of the heaviest cards in the minor arcana, but if you pulled either one of them, like you wouldn't get that vibe just because like they look normal. But yeah, so they aren't color coded by suit. They also are not color coded by number. As you can see, 5 of cups, 5 of wands, different colors. So the color assignment, from what I can discern, seems random, and if it's not random, it at the very least like is not consistent. Yes, and something else I want to say about this is that like I don't know like what the creators of this deck, I don't know what their like motivation was for doing the minor arcana like this. An argument that someone could like make the argument of like, oh well, like it's easier to apply tropes of people to like the major arcana and the court cards, which I can understand, obviously how it's easier to apply anime tropes to the core cards in the deck. I do think it's worth noting, however, that there are plenty of major arcana that, like, aren't people, and, the tarot deck still managed to apply, like, tropes to them. Like, we see the Chariot here, words. The Chariot, the trope applied here was, like, the Big Brother trope. The Tower, the trope applied here was like narrative abomination, and then the Death card, like the trope applied here was just like the car crash trope. So yeah, like in the major arcana, it seemed like, I don't want to say like, oh, it was easy, but like in the major arcana, it was possible to apply tropes to the cards that weren't people. So I don't know, in another life, in another universe, maybe the same could have been done for the minor arcana. I don't know. But anyways, yes. Yeah, aside from this, I do really enjoy this deck. Like I said, I think the art style is very pretty, and I think that it's a clever concept. I like how it, I like how it gives people the opportunity to like see the media they enjoy represented in tarot decks, in like this tarot deck, which is always good when people can see their interests represented. And I like this approach specifically because like there are like a lot of anime that like you can see represented like via this list. And I think that's really cool. So yes, overall, I do enjoy the deck. I love the guidebook. Like, look at this guidebook. It's very extensive. Love the deck, love the guidebook, love the concept. Very good deck, just aside from the minor arcana that I mentioned. But yes, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.